In light of the controversy surrounding the NYPD's stop and frisk policies and surveillance of Muslim communities, members of the City Council today proposed legislation to set up an oversight office of Inspector General at the New York Police Department. WBAI's Linda Perry has the story.
The Office of Inspector General would conduct independent reviews of NYPD policies, practices, programs, and operations. It would have subpoena power and provide a safe haven for NYPD whistleblowers who are now reluctant to come forward. Unlike the Civilian Complaint Review Board, which is limited to investigating individual cases of police misconduct, or the Bureau of Internal Affairs, which is not independent and also focuses on individual cases, the Office of Inspector General would not be reactive, but geared to systematic issues and long-term reforms. Councilmember Brad Lander says the need for police oversight has been clear for decades.
When undercover officers are placed in student groups and places of worship in a manner that appears based far more on race and religion than on specific criminal leads, the need for an NYPD Inspector General is clear.
Responsibility for the new office would be shared by the mayor and the city council. The inspector general would be appointed by the mayor for a 7-year renewable term. The city council would determine the budget for the office and have a say in the investigative staff. As of now, Mayor Bloomberg does not support the formation of an independent monitor. Councilmember Jamani Williams says this bill fills a void, and he is surprised Mayor Bloomberg isn't on board.
I'm surprised at anyone who would be opposed to this bill. I think it crosses all eyes, crosses all aisles, crosses all ideologies. I'm surprised that the mayor is not only not supporting this bill, but not championing it. He's a big fan of consultants to come in and take fresh looks at things. He's a big fan of researching things to make things as efficient as possible. And that's all this is doing. I believe if you can have an IG at the FBI or CIA, if you can have most of the agencies, including the fire department, have an IG, why can't you have an IG at the NYPD? As a matter of fact, if there's an agency that should have an independent inspector general, it probably should be the 7th largest army in the world, the one the mayor has called his private army. That's probably the agency that you want to have some independent oversight.
Williams says the IG bill is a way to overview the police department continually and as a whole.
It's also a way for someone to say there might be more efficient ways to do the police work that we're doing. This protects not only the citizens and residents of New York City, it also protects the police of New York City, who I believe the majority of them want to do a good job or trying to do a good job, are also demoralized by the poor police practices that are being pushed on them by the mayor and the commissioner.
Over and over, the phrase most often repeated on the steps of City Hall was, "We know the NYPD is watching us, but who is watching the NYPD?" Udi Al-Fair is the advocacy director of the New York Civil Liberties Union. He says oversight and transparency are hallmarks of American democracy. We trust the NYPD with extraordinary powers, he says, and we trust they do not abuse their powers.
For decades, New Yorkers have asked for real oversight of the NYPD. And while we've waited, millions of Black and Latino New Yorkers have been illegally stopped and frisked. Thousands of Muslim New Yorkers have found themselves under surveillance even though they have done absolutely nothing wrong. Well, New York City can wait no longer. New York City needs an inspector general to shine a light on the policies coming out of One Police Plaza and their impact on New Yorkers' civil liberties and civil rights.
City council members were joined by advocates for safer communities, good government, civil rights, and members of religious communities. Rabbi Michael Feinberg says the issue of stop and frisk and abuses from the New York Police Department cries out for an Office of Inspector General.
For me, it's a matter of conscience for all New Yorkers, and particularly people of faith and faith communities that are feeling the brunt of policies like stop and frisk. So it's imperative we come and speak out and add our voices to this coalition to demand an Inspector General.
Hesham El Meligy is with Muslims for Liberty. He says the Inspector General's office would help create a better atmosphere for his children and his community.
Our children wouldn't be asking the questions, why are we being watched? Why mommy and daddy stopped going to the mosque? Why are they talking a lot about not speaking certain words in public? or preventing us from participating in certain activities that we used to do, like river rafting, when the NYPD sent an undercover officer to watch some students have some fun. So our children are under pressure, and it's unfair, and it affects everybody in the city. This is not a particular group. Today it's our group, tomorrow it's your group. So everybody should be together supporting the idea of transparency and accountability, starting with the mayor himself.
The legislation introduced today to create an Office of Inspector General is part of the Community Safety Act. The package includes a bill to create a real ban on racial profiling by the NYPD, a bill to protect New Yorkers against unlawful searches, and a bill that would mandate the NYPD provide a reason for each stop and frisk. Linda Perry, WBAI News, New York.